Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to be giving you a full breakdown on the ring dip. Now, ring dips can help build such an insane upper body physique when you've put the time into them, and the challenge they provide, at least in my opinion, makes them really fun to do. But this doesn't mean that we can jump straight into these with no experience at all or no foundation of pushing strength, especially with dips on stable objects. So here I'm going to cover pretty much everything from when you should start doing these, exercises that you can do prior to hitting ring dips to get better and used to the rings, as well as the form involved and so much more. So let's just get straight to it. Ring dips primarily target your chest, shoulders, and triceps, but you'll especially notice how much they develop your chest. With rings, you can enter a deep stretch at the bottom, taking full advantage of the most hypertrophic part of the movement, and with the freedom of rotation, it can potentially be nicer on your wrists, elbows, or shoulders when going through the motion in comparison to some fixed bar paths. If you already have a solid base with bar dips, this brand new stimulus with instability will force your body to adapt, engaging stabilizers that you've probably never felt before, demanding full control through every inch of the range of motion used. Now, when it comes to starting your ring dip training, there's a few things you want to take into consideration. First off, if you're a beginner who is just getting into their calisthenics training and you're just starting your basic pushing and pulling movement patterns on stable objects, you definitely don't want to jump into the instability of rings, especially ring dips. It is so unstable and it requires a lot more mental and physical focus. Honestly, there's no rush here. If you're in this position, stick to getting better with your basic pushing and pulling movement patterns, become better with your body awareness, form, and technique for the exercises that you're currently training. Now, the second case here is if you're already kind of experienced with calisthenics and you've done bar dips before in the past or you're getting better at them, you should be able to hold a strong support hold at the top where the shoulders maintain depressed, lower down without the shoulders elevating towards your ears, be able to build up to a deeper bottom position, and be able to fully lock out the elbows at the top. So if you worked up to the point where you can comfortably perform at least 15 or more repetitions of bar dips with good form, then I guarantee you'll be in a much better position when it comes to starting off your ring dips. Now, if you're in that position where you're still training your bar dips and getting stronger with them and working towards that 15 or more repetition mark, what you can do is implement some easier intro ring pushing exercises on the side to start adapting to that instability so that when you get on to your ring dips, you'll just be a step ahead. For 2 activation drills that you can choose from, you can use ring support holds with feet assistance or without, getting used to the instability, and holding a strong isometric position with the shoulders depressed. Or you can do feet supported dip shrugs on rings, which is a great dynamic activation drill for understanding what it feels like to enter a depressed shoulder position on rings, going from elevation to depression. For 2 intro exercises, you can go with feet supported ring dips, where you can assist yourself the entire way through with your legs and make sure to use your legs as you go through the motion, reducing the pressure used over time. Or my personal favorite, inclined ring push-ups with a neutral grip. These are both a great way to start adapting to the instability while training your chest, shoulders, and triceps. All right, now let's go over how to do your ring dips. For the ring dip, I highly recommend using a box to set up instead of jumping into the position. You'll be much more focused when entering the position. It could be much harder to set yourself up with a jump and may waste some extra energy to focus. All right, for the starting position, make sure the ring straps are at shoulder width or just a little bit closer. Start in a strong support hold, thinking about the hands being as close as possible to your hips in a neutral position. Keep a small crunch in the abs with the chest slightly closed. Keep your legs together and quads engaged. This can help prevent excessive arching of your back and excessive shoulder extension as you lower down. Keep a solid starting position. As you lower down, keep your head up and avoid letting the shoulders shrug up towards the ears, and let the freedom of rotation do its thing as you lower down. Keep the elbows tucked and hands close to your body. At the bottom, lower down only to what feels comfortable for now. Do not force a range that you have not yet worked with. Let your accumulation of dips on rings over time work on that. As you push back up, remember, keep the rings close to your body the whole time and continue to maintain tension in your core and legs. At the top, you'll notice that I finish here with my palms facing forward. This is called a rings turned out position. I'll talk more about that in a different section in this video, but for now, you can finish at the top in a neutral hand position. This is your full ring dip. Now, really quickly, I want to go over the anchor point, which can be pretty important here. So the anchor point is the point of attachment for your rings. So let's say you're gonna train outside on a tree branch, for instance, and you gotta toss your straps pretty high up over that branch and bring the rings down pretty low just to get into your ring dip position. That distance from the rings to the branch, if it's very, very large, it's gonna make the position more unstable. So pretty much the further the distance is from the rings to the anchor point, the less stable it's gonna become. And this is important because if you're jumping from one anchor point to another anchor point and you find your ring dips struggling one day and not so much the other, it's most likely due to this. So I recommend if you're getting into your ring dips, like just getting into them, stick to one anchor point. A pull-up bar is pretty good. The distance doesn't have to be too far apart. Just make sure that when you do your ring dips, you don't smack your head on the bar if you're using a bar, and just remain with that one anchor point until you become really good with ring dips. Now let's go over the infamous top position on rings. You'll sometimes see people finish at the top in what's called a rings turned out position, where the palms are facing forward, and you've seen me do this throughout this video. This is a very challenging position to hold. It makes the ring dip at the top significantly harder on your stability and will challenge your biceps isometrically to hold that position, as a function of the biceps is supination. If you've ever watched gymnasts, you'll notice they often have incredibly developed biceps, and this isn't just from the dynamic movements in training, but also from those isometric straight arm support holds and planche variations. The rings turned out position also increases the demand on your triceps as you fully lock out the arms, and you'll feel your lower chest fibers contract hard as the arms slightly adduct toward the body with the rings turned out position. Now, with all that in mind, the rings turned out position is something to work up to gradually. You definitely don't want to jump straight into doing it, as you're not accustomed to it. Your biceps probably aren't accustomed to it. Take the slow route here. First, make sure you finish your ring dips in a neutral position. You still gain the benefits of the ring dip when it comes to building that physique you're looking for. What you can do is you can slowly start practicing slight rotation externally into that ring turned out position. So you can start with neutral, play with a small rotation, maybe 20 degrees to 45 degrees, and come back down, and repeat this over a period of time. Let it gradually build as you become more comfortable with the instability factor from that ring turned out position. It will be a lot harder, trust me. And if it just doesn't feel good overall for you, don't force it. Stick with that neutral position at the top. Over time, if you really want to, and it feels better and you've gotten really good at ring dips, then you can start playing with it more often. Okay, now a classic complaint that I've heard in the past from people is the ring straps rubbing up on the forearms and arms during their ring dips. Now, for some people, this might be more aggravating than others. For me personally, I never really had an issue with it. I mean, I think it might be due to my hairy arms, not really sure. It just never bothered me a lot, but for some people it will. And I have two solutions here to help you deal with this if this is the case for you. The first one is to look at the anchor point and see where the straps are located. If the straps are way too close to each other on the anchor point, it'll place more pressure onto your forearms and arms as you perform your ring dips. So if this is the case, check the anchor point, move the straps to shoulder width or even just a little bit outside of it, and see if the sensation still occurs on your forearm and arms. The second solution here is if that doesn't work, simply use compression sleeves. Compression sleeves are a great tool to help overcome this, and they're pretty affordable on Amazon or at your local sporting goods store. You don't need to get some super expensive compression sleeve. Just a simple one that's like $9 or $10 online can really do the trick. All right, guys, that pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about with the ring dip. If you guys have any questions at all, please leave a comment down below, and I look forward to answering them. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, enjoy the process.